Greetings all, hope your day's going well. Today is Friday, February the 12th, 2021. I'm out taking my wee doglet for a walk out here in the park, out in the field. I'm actually outstanding in the field, so there you go, I'm outstanding in the field. That's how that works. So I thought I'd just come on and have a bit of a yak, because there's a lot of few comments, a lot of people getting a bit confused because of the words of the game that were being played. The cons are out there fusing things, cons being the criminals, of course. That's how that rolls. I haven't got the reading glasses on, so I can't see who's actually there, but I know there's some people there. It's all good. It's been a while since I've done a wee live. But yeah, I just thought I'd come on board and maybe help to clarify a wee bit on some of the pitfalls and the potholes and the misunderstandings and the confusions that people are getting in with words. Now normally I usually have a whiteboard and that, and it's very important to be able to see the spellings of words, because they give us an aspect of things which is aspect, and we want to have a perspect, because each person's got their perspective, haven't they? It's personal perspective. You want to be a spectator in your perspective. See, that's how that works. Doggone. And so sow seeds. So we're going to sow some seeds. See, words, folks, words are contract, okay? Everything's contract, in fact. Everything is a contract. And if you ask any mothers out there about contractions, they'll tell you they're painful. Especially if you don't know what you're doing, don't know what's going on, and everything's new and incomprehensible. It's natural that we should be in a place of needing support, shall we say. So, if you want to turn my camera around here, so you're not looking at me mugly. Here, if I can find it. So that one. Oh, there we go. Give you something to look at rather than mugly. So, because we're out here in the field. This is the minefield, actually. It's your field. Your field's the minefield. You're in a field at the moment. We're all in fields. I'm currently outstanding in the field. That's just how that goes. Actually, I hope you can hear me all right. But so we're in a minefield. Exactly, this is what's going on. It's the words. Words are the pitfalls that are all getting us into states of division and anxiety and misunderstandings and, as I said before, confusions. It's all about the contracts confusing. The cons are all a bunch of criminals, and if you don't go testing those cons, then there's no contest, is there? Again, I've told you how that works. If you haven't seen some more videos, you can go and check out my YouTube channel, Not the Norm, and go and check out some of the videos there where I actually go through this with a pen, because we're all in a pen. It's the minefield of the pen, and elaborate a little bit more on these things by showing you the spellings, because we all learn in different ways and see things and hear things in different ways, and we comprehend things differently, of course, because we've all got our own filters, we've all got our own, understandings of things and misunderstandings of things, of course, and we've all got our own perspectives, and those perspectives and those understandings, those beliefs we think we have, are all being determined through your experiences, through your environments that you've grown up in, the people around you, your education, level of educations, your jobs, your every environment, your minefield. That's your filter. Your filter's in your minefield. And you want to be mindful, don't you? You want to be mindful about these things, because if we're not, then we're a ship at sea that's open for salvage, and this is what's going on. We're vessels at sea that are open for salvage. In fact, I think it was Michael Collins, when he looked back upon the Earth landing on the moon, he said the Earth is but a vessel in the sea of space. He knew exactly what he was talking about. It's a vassal. You're a vassal. It's your field, folks. Here's Teddy the dog. He's out here in the field with us. So we want to be mindful of what's going on. And, you know, words, the language, of course, we're using is commonly known as English, but, I mean, English in and of itself is known as an equivocal language. And equivocal means duplicit, unclear, vague. So with the words and the language, I'm talking about the verbal language. I mean, the written language, again, is another level of, there's a whole nother level of communication going on there, because that's all code. And they tell you it's code, folks. They tell you exactly that it's code. They tell you. They've got to. They've got to tell you what they're doing, because that confers consent. I tell you I'm coming round to your house, I'm eating all the food in your fridge, I'm putting on your freshest clothes, I'm taking the TV off the wall, I'm putting it in your car, and I'm driving down the driveway and I'm taking it away. Now I can do all that with language, with such flowery language, that you don't know what the heck's going on. Because the interpretations that you have of language are going to be questionable on the very grounds that the language that we're using has built into it these pitfalls, these contracts, these potholes. And it is a minefield. That language, written and or spoken, both have very, very intricate levels of communication, and higher and lower levels of communication that are going on with the words. And so this is half the problem. Well, it's probably way more than half the problem. It is the problem. Our communication, our ability to communicate has been fractured. I hope you can hear me. We've got the lawnmower guy in here on the lawn, so I don't run my dog over. He's out in the field as well. The edge of the field. Excuse me. So this is what I want to elaborate a little bit more on, and make you a little bit consciously aware of the words that you're using, not only the words you're using, but the words of other people's, the words you're hearing, and how you interpret them. Because I can say beautiful language, but you could interpret it, and my intentions could be 100% holy. See, duplicity of the words, that's funny. Anyway, I can be totally 100% sincere in my intentions of my words, but how you receive them, I've got no control over that. I've got no control over that, and the way you receive my words, they may incite you or they will incite you. And if you look at the spellings of those two words, with a C and one with an S, that will clearly show you the obvious duplicity that we're dealing with, and the troubles that we're having with our levels of communication. God knows we all know what's going on. Well, most of us know what's going on. Most of us can pretty much see that it's a system specifically designed to keep us, to dissolve any good, let me put it that way. To dissolve all good. This particular system that they've indoctrinated us into. You've got to be certified and permitted and indoctrinated, don't you, to run that system. Trained, like carriages of goods. That's what we are. We're a product of the society. But you can change all that, and that's a beautiful thing. You can change all that. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple, really. It's starting to be conscious of the words you're using. Be conscious of the messages that you're trying to convey. Be conscious of what it is you're hearing. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. The inference there is to listen twice and speak once. And if you have nothing to say or don't know anything about it, then don't say anything. And silence also speaks clearly, speaks volume. Silence speaks volumes. If you have the ears to listen, flowers, they say nothing but speak volumes in beauty. But they say nothing. This is the point I'm trying to make. We have to be conscious at all times. There's a good little game you can play to help you to be consciously not only aware of what you're saying, but of what other people are saying as well. And you can try this amongst you sovereigns, because you're all being challenged with the legalese, contractual language of the officers, the police, the policy enforcement officers, or any other agent. He's a Gentile. Gentiles, folks, they're pigs. The Jews called the non-Jews Gentiles. That means pigs. Goyim, whatever you want to call it. Amaleks. Pick your language, pick your word, pick your contract. And this is how it rolls. This is how it rolls, folks. They've got us all divided by the words, divisions in the words. The contracts are in the words. They're contractual. They close us down. They contract us. Contraction. I-O-N on the N word is contract. Ion. You're an ion. You're energy. It's telling you. If you look at it, you spell it. Spells are cast. They have newscasts, don't they? Newscasters to anchor the spells on the news. The information that comes from the north, the east, the west and the south. They anchor it. They're newscasters. They report. They report you, don't they? Put your ship back into port. They vessel. They cargo the vessel. The vessel. It's your mind. And if you don't mind, it won't matter. And that's how you can dispel all these notions and potions of narrative and propaganda. The spellings that they cast. And they cast you. And when you're in a cast, you die, don't you? When you're in a cast, well, if you've got a cast, you're broken. And that's a catastrophe. And the astro's the star, that's the light. Anything with astro's a star, in fact. When you start looking at the language and the words and the spellings and the codes therein, they're telling you exactly what's going on, folks. And they're sitting back laughing. They're laughing their little, all the way to the bank. All the way to the banks of the river that control the liquid that flows the currents to the sea, which is the current sea. That's how it rolls. We like being on a roll because it's easy. Because then we're on the ball, aren't we, when we're on a roll? That's how that rolls. But they've got to tell you what they're doing. And they very clearly tell you what they're doing, folks. They've got to. They've got to tell you what they're doing. Because if you don't resist, then it's by consent. Silence is acquiescence. A maxim of law, one of many you should all know. Silence is acquiescence. By being silent, you are agreeing to any claim being made against you, or anything being postulated against you, or for your safety. Is the new, well, it's not a new catchphrase. I think everything Hitler did was for your safety, folks. So, they've clearly told us what they're doing to us, what they're going to do to us, and what they have done to us. When you start to comprehend the language and the messages, because it's a messy age, it's the messages being conveyed therein, you see. And they like to tell you what's going on and how to think, because they shape the narrative, they control the narrative, and it's propaganda. And which is a, it's a PC word for lies and bullshit, quite frankly. I don't know how many times you guys need to be bullshitted to before you just believe the bullshitter. But there's only so much crap you can take, isn't there? Well, for me, I can only speak for myself, I suppose. But I know many others are feeling the same vibration and the same frequency, because they're in the field as well. They're outstanding in the field as well, folks. They're starting to feel what's going on. They're starting to feel the irritation of the prickle in the foot, you know. And most of the sheep can start to smell the wolves circling the paddocks. They're all looking for a shepherd. Notice the word she is in that word. Papatuanuku, we've got to get together, don't we? We've got to grow up, put those two words together and you've got the group. Get back on the ground, get back grounded on Papatuanuku, get your feet back on the floor. Get back on the earth. Find your space. Find your space and fill your own cup up. They like to consider you as liquidity, well, fill your own cup up. And then you can quench the thirst of others. That's how that rolls. I've taken a wee bit of time out for myself. Mind you, still doing the mahi. And so many others out there starting to step in the light too. Raise your voices. Because it's time to be heard. It's supposed to be part of the herd. Time we heard you, isn't it? Heard you together. Back on the land. Back on the substance. Back on the real estate, eh? The real estate. The real estate of your mind. You see, it's quite funny here. I don't know what they're doing here. These white lines, but it's not too big ovals. So I'm going around that way. I'm going around that way. And right in the middle here, we've got a, what do we call this? The cervix, or it's that shape. It's in the centre of life, circle of life. Quite bizarre. So here we are in the circle of life, outstanding in the field. With our lines being clearly drawn. See? That's what you got to learn to do, folks. Start drawing your lines in the sand. And sand's the land, see? You can only do that when you're standing on the land, because then you can affirm things. You're back on terra firma. Go look up the word terrorism, folks. Get out a dictionary, if you've got a dictionary close to you now, and look up the word terrorism. Because that tells you exactly what's going on. They tell you what they're doing. Now, they've got a war on terrorism, haven't they? Terra firma, terrorism. Wait a minute, what's going on there, Norm? Go get your dictionary and have a look, folks. It tells you terrorism is tyranny by government. I kid you not. They've got to tell you what they're doing. They do tell you. They very clearly tell you exactly what they're doing to you. The very word government is two words from Latin. Gubernare and ment. Ment meaning mind, gubernare meaning control. So they clearly tell you what's going on. They've got, once you start to comprehend it, and start to see it, you can start to decode and decipher and design and descript and undo those spellings that are being cast. Because that's what's happening. They all want you in a cast, don't you? Well, they love putting you in casts. If you ever travelled through India, you can go half a kilometre and go through 3 different castes. Again, they cast you out. Good boy, kid. So yeah. So it's all about the words, folks. I want you to get more conscious of the words. I want you to start putting pen to paper. Get out of there, Teddy. Leave him alone. So that's how it works. That's how you decipher things. Because it's all ciphers and sigils. In the beginning was the word. No. In the beginning was the sound. The beginning was the sound. The sound through the vibration created a symbol. Still figuring out what that symbol was yet. Or maybe we know. Maybe some know. Over there, actually. But yeah, that's how it rolls, folks. So yeah, so I want you to start being very aware of pen on paper language. What are people saying? And the most nebulous language out there you get are from your leaders. Your leaders speak the most nebulous language there is. They'll never answer a yes or no question. And that is, again, because they are the operators of the system. You know, And they've bought the media, the newscasters, they've already bought them. They're from Medea. That's the place of the magicians, the spellcasters, the sleight of handers, the con artists. See, back to those cons again. They're a bunch of cons. They tell you exactly what they're doing, folks. They've got to tell you what they're doing. They operate from a house called Parliament. Parliament is a French word, 2 words. Parler is to speak, and mentir in French is lies. So again, you've got a bunch of mind controllers speaking lies, telling you what you should and shouldn't do. I think it's time we need to start questioning that, folks. What do you think? Okay, now if you're feeling inclined to want to get out somewhere and speak up, there is a big movement at the moment going on, not only in Australia, but over here in Aotearoa as well. Being spearheaded by Karen Brewer. Hats off to you, Karen. Love and light to you. Hats off to you, girl. You're an absolute gem, shining star out there. Keep up the good work. So there is movements going on out there. There's things going on. You can get out in the park on Sundays, a local park in your town, figure out where it is. You know, there's lots of censorship going on. There's a lot of censorship going on, folks. It's real. Censorship is real. Make no mistake about it. And, you know, most of us can see through it. Most of us can, you know, more and more as the bullshit dissolves. See, this is the other thing, folks. You know, the system has to reveal itself, and this is what's happening. It's being revealed. This is the moment where it's caving in on itself. It's a beautiful time, really. Wholeheartedly, I say that with all faith in the world. 100% faith, man. It's a beautiful time, folks. Beautiful time. So get out in those parks. Get out in the field. Get out standing in the field, folks. And start connecting and networking and getting together, because it's a numbers game. It's always a numbers game in all ways. In all ways, in every way, in all ways, it's a numbers game. And you're part of those numbers, folks. So it is a call. It is a call to rally and raise your voices. And don't go out there protesting. Go out there promoting. How about we stop protesting and start promoting again? Let's start using the language to our advantage. God knows it's been used against us for so long. Let's start turning it around and start using it against the system. And start exposing. Once we do that, the system will just be exposed even more. Once we do that, we'll expose the system even more. Once we start turning it around, start questioning the system in the same way that they question us and our motives at every turn, at every census. They tried to census us, don't they? And their census every 4 years. Again, you know, play on language, folks. Start looking at the duplicity of the words. Tract, you know, contract. It's all contract, mate. Cons, bunch of criminals, bunch of cons. And it's a cons piracy, folks. It's a bunch of cons in the act of piracy. And piracy is rape, pillage and plunder. Again, they tell you exactly what's going on. And it's the great conspiracy. And one of the greatest conspiracies out there, folks, is to do with the words and the language. Not only phonetically, but spelling. Written, which they call cursive language. Again, funnily enough. Not by coincidence. And none of the stuff is by coincidence. Make no mistake about that. Make no mistake. Have no mistake on that, my friends, because that would be an error to tie me to an appointment, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it, and wouldn't I? Get back to the truth of the log of the wood, wouldn't you? Anyway, I might leave it at that. Thanks for joining us. Just a little bit of a kōrero to try and help you people to wake up a little bit more to the language and the words and the duplicity that lies within them. And to be very clear and precise about what it is you're saying. And when people are talking to you, there's no need to react. Often to not react says more than reacting to things. You know, try and let things incite you, not incite you. If it's inciting you with a C, then try and switch it to insight and to see another aspect of what's going on. Which is where I've begun. We are spectators. It's your aspect. So I want you to get out there, start raising your voices, because they're powerful things. They're incredibly powerful things, folks. 99% of us have got one of those. So we need to start working together and koreroing. Networking and listening. You know, most of us comprehend what's going on, and we're all explaining the same things in our own different myriad of ways. So we need to start to get over the differences and start focusing on what's in common. And stop protesting, and let's start promoting. Let's start promoting clean water. Let's start promoting 3G free areas. Let's start promoting, you know, true knowledge and understanding and love and compassion and integrity and all those things that we all want to strive for in and of ourselves and should be striving for. And we do that by connecting and reflecting and being with others. We are social creatures, folks. And this whole aspect of us social distancing and closing us down in our homes, social isolating and all this shit, mate. Seriously, folks, I mean, come on. Come on. It's time to wakey wakey. It's time for us all to be out there and get outstanding in the field. So on Sundays in the park near you, Karen Brewer's spearheading a thing there that's exposing all sorts of nasty stuff, you know, that needs to be exposed and needs to be talked about. You know, our minds, generally speaking, turn away from things that are ugly and not nice. And but seriously, folks, if we don't face our shadows, go and have a look what Freud said about not facing your shadows. We see where that gets us, folks. And if you're the light, which we all contend to be on some level, then we should be walking into those shadows and dispersing that light, dispersing that darkness, and those misunderstandings and those all that stuff. We all know what's going on. So yeah, so I'd urge you to do that, and again, just be conscious and be focused on, oh sorry, the game. I didn't give you just a game to play with another individual. I want you to get together and ask each other a question. The first one who answers the other person's question fails. Simple rules. I want you to continue asking questions, because of the quest eye on, you want to be as king. Okay? You don't want to be swearing. You don't want to be in swear, do you? And swear. Oh, yeah. And swear. Yes. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. I want you to get out there and be outstanding in the field. And be conscious of what you're saying. Be conscious of your intentions. And don't feel you have to react all the time. You know, take your time to respond if you need to. So, yeah. Love and light to you. I'll be back again. Got a few workshops going on, helping a few people individually out on different things. So the mahi's still going on. Sorry I haven't been as active as I would like to be on Facebook, although my other page has got deleted, as you know. But anyway, all good. You can catch me on Not The Norm YouTube channel. Hopefully we'll see you there. Cheers guys. Love and light to you.